We're live with the man, the myth, the legend, Cody Levine, co-founder of Twice. It's awesome to have you here, Cody.
Oh, John, thank you. Appreciate it. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into the journey of Twice, the toothpaste, and other maybe oral products that are coming out. But for those out there that don't know what Twice is yet, could you give us a little overview of yourself and what you're building?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Cody. I'm one of the three co-founders of Twice, and we are an oral wellness company. We're making oral care products for the next generation. Toothpaste has been our first entry into the market. We've been live for about 3 years. Cleaner, healthier, better for you. Clean formulas that we know work. I'm the son of a dentist. I've been around oral care my whole life. We say we got dental DNA, my brother and I, and we obsess over oral health, your oral health, ingredients, what you're putting in your mouth. And that's why we started Twice, for you to really think twice about what you're putting in it.
Think twice, brush twice a day, maybe even three times if you're
You'll be a
me.
good customer.
Yeah. How did this all begin? You mentioned, your dad's a dentist. When did the idea start, and how did you go about building the company?
Yeah, it's a family run operation, and it all started with the fam. Doc, aka Dad, as a dental specialist in New York City, has been an inventor, a scientist, and really in the last 6 years has moved into giving back in a way that that really helped us go into a new dimension. And my mom with him together started a nonprofit about 6 years ago called Glow Good Foundation, and the Glow Good Foundation brings full service dentistry to communities that don't have access to care. Now, at the time, I was in marketing, helping brands tell stories for agencies in New York, at agencies in New York for big brands, Fortune 500 companies. And my brother was in private equity, helping brands grow and get investment. And we joined our parents on a mission with our third co founder, who's Lenny Kravitz, the musician. And Lenny's been a longtime patient of our dad's. And he asked our parents and this team of dental professionals to come down to the Bahamas where he lives and help his community. They don't have access to dentistry. The smallest thing like a cavity or an infection, if go untreated, can lead to long-term health complications. And we really set up shop, and we were treating Lenny's whole community for full service dentistry, cleanings,
Wow.
whitenings, and full reconstruction of your mouth. We had folks coming in to the dental clinic in physical pain, emotional pain around their smile, not feeling confident,
Mm,
not having the ability to smile. And it was on this trip that we had seen this emotional side of dentistry that actually our parents had committed their lives to. And what was once a family passion very quickly turned into our company purpose. Jules and I were inspired with Lenny down there, seeing the transformational nature of this work. And we fell in love deeper with the dental industry, with the role of a dental professional, and ultimately what a healthy mouth and the ability to smile can provide for you, for your world, for the people around you. And we dove in. We said, well, we want to build a brand that can help people prioritize their mouth and think differently about oral health, because it really is the gateway to overall health.
mm.
The oral systemic connection, the connection between the mouth and the body, has been studied for decades. And really, in a post-COVID world, we are entering a world where prevention and hygiene and preventative care is top of mind. And yet, toothpaste and the products you put in your mouth to take care of your mouth, they haven't yet gotten there. And so
Mm.
we really get so excited and inspired every day to lead a conversation. And we introduced our products, our toothpaste formulas that took us 18 months of formulation. Slept on mom and dad's couch, two couches in the living room, and we came to market with excuse me, a formula that's clean. It's got none of the unnecessary stuff that conventional products have, but it's more scientific than natural. You've got active ingredients that your dentist is going to recommend, and then we bring in this whole world of wellness. We boosted it with vitamin A, C, E, and aloe vera that help really rebalance the ecosystem of the mouth, create a healthier environment, and set you on a path for better health.
Mm. I love it. So many exciting things to dive into. The product's great. I think I have like a lavender vanilla flavor
Yeah.
that you sent over. What's the deal with these charcoal toothpastes? Do they work? Do you believe in
Yeah.
them? Is there anything scientific behind putting something that's black in your mouth? It always feels a little weird when I've tried them.
Yeah, it's, charcoal has been and has continued to be one of the fastest growing segments in our category.
Wow.
And it hasn't slowed down. And it's interesting, like there will be future innovations, whether it's prebiotic or probiotic and formulas, but charcoal has been super successful as a whitening agent.
Stains your
The-
sink. It doesn't whiten your sink.
if if you gotta scrub your sink for sure.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, charcoal. I think it's for a specific person. You have to watch out for the RDA level, which is the abrasive level. Think of like sandpaper
okay.
on a material. Like toothpaste have a certain level of RDA, which is your abrasiveness of how it's taking stains off your teeth. And some charcoal, when they first came out, were too high and almost dangerous for your enamel. So once you lose your enamel, if you like rip away your enamel, it's not growing back.
Mm,
So you have to be careful. I will let you in on a little secret that we're launching a low abrasive charcoal
mm,
that actually has some secondary ingredients that are really beneficial for you in baking soda and nanohydroxyapatite. So I will say that charcoal is for a specific person. If you have a white sink, yeah, you got to struggle with it.
yeah.
But I stick to our core formulas. But it's interesting. People love it. People love it. It whitens your teeth, but you just got to be careful as to how much it whitens.
Mm. Yeah, so a lot of different places to jump off, kind of like the high level founding story. Um, Maybe diving a little bit deeper into just like the toothpaste world. So you have like these, OG companies, the Crest, the Colgates of the world, and then you have a bunch of like very natural players that maybe don't have the scientific ingredients or things that are scientifically proven to help you prevent cavities. Can you give us a little bit of like the lay of the land? Like, what are these conventional toothpaste companies put in their toothpaste that's not good for you? And then
Mm.
where do the natural ones kind of miss the mark?
Yeah, it's a great question, and the landscape has um, it's been established, and the big guys who we have nothing but admiration for um, creating these products. Looking at conventional, there are some ingredients that end up in toothpaste that just are like unnecessary. Sulfates being one of them. Sodium lauryl sulfate. Sulfates are detergents. You find them in your soaps, your shampoos, your laundry detergents, and your toothpaste. It's what makes it
Mm,
foam up.
mm,
It's a synthetic foam that actually like can potentially cause canker sores. I don't know if you get canker sores. I do. They're painful. They're awful. They're like ulcers.
yeah, yeah.
Can also cause skin irritation. And these ingredients are cheaper alternatives to like a plant-based coconut derived foaming agent, which is what we have. And so
Mm,
those ingredients we strip out. And of course, like parabens and carrageenan and some of these things that like can be endocrine disruptors. We're conscious consumers. We're looking at labels, and there are ingredients that have ended up in some of these mainstream brands that we want to stay away from. So we strip out those. So cleaner than conventional. And then the natural space, Trailblazed by Tom's, which has been an incredible company to introduce naturals as a category. Um, in our eyes, what's really important is our active ingredients. Growing up with a father who's a dental specialist, you don't want cavities. Cavities lead to all sorts of complications, infections, diseases, and they're highly preventable. And and everyone's whitening their teeth, so there are active ingredients like insensodyne that actually are really good for sensitive teeth. So or natural brands don't really have those actives.
mm,
Call them sodium fluoride, which is the number one most effective way to remineralize enamel and prevent cavities, and potassium nitrate, which is the same ingredient in Sensodyne we have in our toothpaste. So a lot of the natural brands you'll see being fluoride free. And we can talk about fluoride all day long. I have great conversations with friends who are holistic health coaches and nutritionists and dentists and specialists There's pros and cons to everything, and it's really about consumption or exposure, like the sun.
Mm,
But we make sure to have the active ingredients that your dentist is really going to recommend that are really about dental health. Most natural brands kind of fall short in having the actives. So clean science is a really important aspect of our brand. Our formulations are all through the lens of clean science. And then there's a whole world of thinking about the mouth as a microbiome, right? You
mm,
look at the gut microbiome. The oral microbiome is the second largest microbiome in the body. There's 8 billion bacteria, good and bad, right? So instead of just like dental health with holes in your teeth, which no one wants, you also have to think about the gums and your saliva production and collagen, and like how are you boosting your oral immunity, your oral defenses to in a preventative way to make sure that, if stress comes on or an illness comes on, that you're actually like boosted and fighting off, the bad bacteria in your mouth. So
mm.
vitamin A, C, E, aloe vera, and all our future products are really formulated in a way that can, it's kind of these next gen benefits that the
Yeah.
mouth and oral health hasn't really seen in a mainstream way. So that's the conversation we get really excited to have.
Mm. Are there any ingredients that you currently have in your formula that you're like, maybe we can get rid of this, or do you get any feedback from customers today around certain ingredients that you're looking to improve today?
Um, I mean, we get people who ask us about our flavor oils because they'll be, allergic to a wintergreen
Mm,
or something like that. I think also what's really important for us is taste and
mm.
flavor.
Yeah.
We work with an incredible flavor house. They grow their own mint in their like sprawling farms, sustainably sourced in the Pacific
Well, that's
Northwest
cool.
region. It's beautiful, and an important part is dialing in like the fresh, cooling feeling and the taste of the mint. And part of that is a science experiment. And if you're like 100% natural, you kind of like it doesn't taste that good. So a big part of our formula is like um, balancing clean ingredients and taste and fresh feeling
Mm,
in a way that gets people to say like, okay, I want to use this product, and
yeah.
it's clean and healthy, and it tastes better than the natural brands, and it's healthier and safer and better than the conventional brands.
Yeah. You've done that to me. I'm like, I crave it. I crave brushing my teeth with twice. Okay, we got a little bit into the weeds there. Zooming out, you're on this mission. Got to get deeper into the Lenny Kravitz story. I'm curious about that, but maybe just first, like, what was the moment where you and your brother looked at each other and said, like, "Hey, let's do this." Like, do you remember it? Was it
Yeah,
actually on the mission itself?
yeah, it was. It was our second year, and man, we treat these patients who very quickly become family. And we had this one guy, Pete, who runs a surf shop in town. And Pete grew a beard and a mustache like over his whole mouth. And he's like the class clown. He's always joking, making people laugh. But he grew out his beard. He told us that he was embarrassed for his wife to see his teeth when he smiled because he was like
Mm.
missing a lot of his mouth. And we gave him a full new set of teeth, dentures and partials, and gave him this new beautiful smile. And he came in the next day and he shaved his whole beard, and he comes in
Wow.
like smiling ear to ear. And it was a guy like Pete. And then we had a woman come in who 8 years prior, domestic abuse, her ex-husband knocked
Mm.
out all of her teeth, top and bottom. She didn't have the means to get them fixed. She was a social worker. She was always talking to people, but she never felt like herself. And she told us that she hadn't been on a date with a man in 8 years. And we gave her a whole new beautiful smile. And she gets out of the chair and she goes, "I'm back, I'm back, I'm back." And
Wow.
it was on that mission. We work from sun up to sundown, and the mission's like this is not like any other mission, because then the whole team, they're so energized. They're like, we go out and like we dance and we drink and we have the best time after. But and the team
And
wakes
what do
up the
you and
next
your
morning.
brother do while like the dental professionals are working? Are you guys more like getting everything in order and more on the admin office side?
Yeah, we have to. We unfortunately we can't. You don't want me getting into those chompers, John, with these hands. I didn't go to dental school,
Uh,
but we're
Not too late.
Julian sterilizes materials, which is probably the most important job in the clinic, making sure that the things operating. I'm helping the kids, or working at the front and talking to people, and we do what we can. We're part of it, but we're not in the chair. But we see intimately what happens, and it's magic. And after our second trip, we're walking down the beach. We're in the Bahamas. It's beautiful. Lenny's hometown, like, it's a little off the beaten path. This is not like commercial Bahamas. It's kind of the countryside, Eleuthera. And we're walking down the beach, and Jules is like, man, he's like, this is it. He's like, how do we do more of this? And we had this moment where we were like, shit, like, what if we quit our jobs and like start a company? And he had the idea for it. And it was on the beach walking, like, just like, I think we were so full of gratitude for, like, I think we saw in totality, like, what our family does and what we can do and how we can leave an
Mm.
impact on this world. And that kind of set a new path for us. Like, this is our legacy. So yeah, man, it inspired us. We were so inspired, and still are every day.
And then you guys come back from the trip, and wait, did you go back to your parents and were like, "Mom, Dad, we're gonna start a toothpaste company or a wellness company"? What did that look like after you guys had that like epiphany moment?
It's funny because they were like, we've done that before. Like, our parents have been in the business forever. They're like, okay. They were stoked. They were like, okay. And Jules and I, we set off. We figured it out, and it wasn't until we were like, oh, wow, our parents, like, they know everything and anything about this industry. They've been in it 25 years. They were the first oral care company to launch in prestige beauty in Sephora,
Mm.
and they trailblazed this like prestige beauty oral care category. And so they helped us along the way, but I think, you ask them today, it's kind of a dream. We work together, and our mom helps run the mission, and we're setting up the next trip, and Doc helps us formulate all our products, and
Mm.
now we're going through finishing all our formulation and packaging. And yeah, man, everyone's like, it's a family mission.
Mm. It, are there any lessons you've learned that maybe you wish you learned sooner, or things that kind of have come up that you didn't foresee in terms of kind of growing and scaling it 3 years in?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, you underestimate how long things take. Um,
Yeah,
good things take
yeah.
time,
It always
and
takes longer than you think.
yeah, always. And it requires, you can't take the burden of everything yourself. I think in the early days, Julian and I were like, oh, we'll just, we bootstrapped, and there are pros and cons of bootstrapping a business. It enables you to make a lot of mistakes. You don't want to make too many big mistakes, but when you're on a budget, you gotta sharpen the pencils and be a little more strategic. And I think we say in the fam, it's the who, not how, and it's really all about the people, and surrounding yourselves with incredible, talented thinkers who can see your vision and are smarter than you in what you want to do. That's been, one of our biggest learnings, and really like leveraging all your resources in a way that can power you up. We've been really lucky to, even in this year, to surround ourselves with incredible people around our table, advisors, agency partners, and now, looking for internal hires, which has been really inspiring.
Mm.
And one of our biggest learnings is, like, we can't do everything. And
Mm.
Jules and I have a very powerful dynamic, right brain, left brain. He's an investment banker. The guy the guy's a night owl, and I like my early mornings. And you know, we try to do as much as possible, but there's a moment where you're just like, hey, I got to hand this off to someone, and you got to start being a manager and being a delegator. And I think for entrepreneurs, that's a very hard thing to do, but
Yeah.
it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah, it's the right people can amplify your business and operations and how things are run. Um, Speaking of people, how so you both had this idea, you share it with your family. When and how did Lenny enter the picture? I know he kind of drove sort of the why and the missions that even put you on that beach or in that spot in Bahamas to have the idea. But when did you decide to bring him on, and um,
Yeah.
how's it going with him?
Yeah, you know, we Jules and I started working and thinking, you know, business model and brand and products, and we kind of pulled together our thoughts. And it's funny, Lenny lives between Bahamas and Paris, and um, I had quit my job on a Wednesday, and we flew to Paris on Thursday, and we like shared with Lenny, you know, hey, this is the vision, is what we want to do. And you know, throughout the time, we'd call him, and or we'd be FaceTiming as a fam, and you know, he'd say, "Oh, what's Julian doing? Like working on that company kind of thing." And we're like, "Yeah, well, we're gonna show you when we're ready." And you know, we shared it with Lenny, and he instantly saw the vision, which was because it's so authentic and genuine and real. And like Lenny also is incredibly passionate about oral health and the role of not just like the connection between the mouth and the body and actually like dentistry, but also like confidence and expression,
Mm,
you know. And and instantly it was like, okay, yeah, like this is, we can really make an impact and create a legacy. And so you know, having Lenny as a third business partner has been an incredible journey to date, and we're really just getting started, which is really cool. You know how it's going. We're this year we took a big step forward to operate as a team in a way that really is so instrumental when you have a lot of parties, you know, in around the table, and aligning on our vision and products and packaging and marketing. So right now behind the scenes, we're cooking up some cool stuff. We're thinking about how to really bring these new products to market in a pretty breakthrough way. So Q1 you'll see some newness, and it's taking the last 2.5 3 years of learnings and applying everything forward. You know, everything's a learning, every good, every bad. So that's probably the
mm.
biggest kind of push as a team is like is getting these new products live in a way that we've never done before.
Yeah, and something I like to ask founders is around just which parts of their journey is sort of natural to or innate to who they are as people. And it sounds like you're creative, you like you're a great storyteller, um, and that's obviously very important to the brand. But something else I like to ask is around what kind of skill sets you've had to hone in or evolve over the last few years. It sounds like one of them is just like not taking all the responsibility with your brother as like founders. Is there anything else that you've had to work on?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, at first I would say to Jules, well, I'm not the organized one. It's like you're I'm like, you're the Excel spreadsheet guy. I'm the keynote guy. But reality is in any startup and in any endeavor, process, organization, and approach is fundamental. So
Mm,
I've had to hone my process and accountability skills maybe in organization. But you know, taking on, you wear every hat, you know, when you're a founder. You know, from biz dev and sales to content and marketing to ops, to product. And you know, I think that I've stepped into most roles to like get dangerous enough and
mm,
then say, okay, you know, we now I know what we need to hire and what we're really looking for, right? Because like there's a skill you like where my skill set ends, someone else has to
Yeah.
start.
And you know it
Um,
well enough to kind of coach or be able to bring someone up to speed.
yeah, exactly. So, on brand marketing, on ops, on growth, and on sales are four key
Are
roles.
are there any tangible, like, I don't know, product hacks or things that you've actually had to learn in terms of becoming that more organized person? Is it like putting more things on your calendar? Um, what systems have you created in order to be that version of yourself?
Yeah. It's funny. You test a bunch of tools and you see what sticks. I think we're still figuring out like what process works really well. In terms of like resources, whether it's Monday.com, like I think project management is probably the biggest fundamental job in a startup
Yeah.
because you can drown in opportunity. You really can. And there's always something that could be done. Like if you're not managing every project, like it's a whirlwind. And so for us, like that's been honing in on like, okay, timelines, project management, and luckily my brother really is an Excel spreadsheet wizard. And so I've leaned on him. But that, PM is like the most fundamental thing. And there's great tools and resources for any startup.
Yeah. Never really asked this, but what do you like on a day to day? Like, what do you wish you got to talk about more that you don't get to talk about in like your day to day business journey or entrepreneurial or talking about twice? Like, is there anything that you want people to know?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I'm always curious about like where a brand can go.
Mm,
Like pie in the sky, 20,000 feet, like long-term vision. It's hard to talk about that stuff all the time because you have to be kind of rooted in execution. But thinking about like what role our brand can and will play in culture,
mm,
beyond the products you make, right? Don't get me wrong, we obsess over our products. But beyond the tools, right? How can our brand be a tool? And I get really inspired before getting on. You were talking about the Mad Happy guys, like what they've been able to do beyond the products is to be a symbol for people who can get value from you, right? Who can learn, who can develop, who can grow. And I think
mm.
what I really think I get to do in my brand, twice is an expression, it's a vehicle. And what I would love to talk more about is like how we can, as a brand, really help people beyond the products. Thinking about the power of self confidence, the power of your own energy, the power of the light inside of you, right? And like our products will illuminate you, right? Will whiten your teeth. Will also make your mouth healthy and your body healthy and your mind healthy. And I think it's pushing the boundaries of what
Mm.
conventionally what a brand can do. That was my old world in advertising. Like, man, I tried to make brands make people think, feel, and do things differently.
Yeah.
And I the biggest role for me right now is finding a marketing person, and I think that's my dreamer. Like dream with me. And I think every entrepreneur, like they're always dreaming. You just got to make sure that you have like someone pulling you down to earth, saying, "All right, like this needs to get done." Um,
Yeah. And
so
that sounds like
yeah,
it's your brother.
yeah,
I
which is
love I
great.
love that. I love that. I think about that a lot too. Is like how can you leverage a brand, this sort of entity to make people, exist to make people's lives better. And on
Hmm.
one hand, that's like your product and the tactical of like what it can do for people, every day, the benefits of it, and then the other is like maybe even like intangible. Um, in the couple minutes that we have left. I'm curious to maybe dive a little bit into like what do you do to keep the self-confidence and the energy and the spirits high? I know
Yeah.
you're a biker. What else do you do on a day-to-day basis to feel good?
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, my dad came in and he wrote out a note, "Do you want to ride?" on a piece of paper. So
No
what
way.
we, yeah,
You guys
what
ride
we do,
together?
yeah, he's, don't tell him I said this on the podcast. He's 66, but he's going on like 35. Guy's an animal. But
Wow.
to answer your question, movement meditation, as in cycling, is like, it's my happy space. But I found meditation about 4 years ago, and breath work as a really powerful tool to
Mm,
kind of like um, recalibrate and kind of set me up for success. I read a book by Robin Sharma called The 5 a.m. Club. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I've heard of that. Yeah, I haven't
Amazing,
looked into it yet. The
incredible read, and the philosophy of early to bed, early to rise, and owning your mornings. And when you own
mm,
your mornings, you elevate your life. And I subscribe to the philosophy. Oh, there you are.
oh,
Sorry, you
I'm
went.
sorry.
I got circles
I
and it
thought you
was
went to
buffering.
sleep so you can get up at 5 a.m.
Right. But part of it is every morning you move, you work out, you do some sort of journaling or meditation, and then you do some sort of learning,
Mm,
whether that's reading or taking in information that can be beneficial for you. And so, like, honestly, I've been pretty religious with that. I hired a coach about a year ago, a kind of business life coach. He's been instrumental in helping me think through all elements of my life, personal, professional, mindset, and it's I feel lucky to be able to have that. And those resources, I think, are available in a lot of different forms.
mm,
Um, so those are really crucial, and honestly, like, I crave connection, and my network and my closest friends are like, they're rocks. Like, I'm really fortunate to have a group of guys who are actually also building consumer brands in different areas. And when we're able to jump on a call and just like vent in a way, but like support each other and pump each other up, because we're all going through a lot of the same things, challenges, problems, opportunities. That's really powerful. So finding your people, but there are a lot of tools in your daily that are really really powerful too.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing it.
Yeah, of course.
Um, this has been great. I want to give you your afternoon back so you can go ride with Pops.
He's
Um,
he's he's in a dream world. I'm like, I got work to do. I guess it is Friday.
yeah, I look forward to meeting up. Shout out to Cody moving to LA. Um, and
Yeah, we're gonna have
yeah,
some twice experiences, twice in
yeah,
Dream Pop's headquarters.
can't wait.
So we'll
Can't
get you
wait.
out there.
Thank you for carving out the time. Excited to be partnering with your brand. Excited to see what you guys accomplish in the coming months and years ahead. And thanks, for sharing the story, a little bit about the product, and then also a little bit about, how you've optimized and continue to refine and become a better version of yourself. It's really fun to talk.
Love that. Appreciate it, John. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, man. Bye.
Bye.